Hi everyone, welcome back to ScholarRaasta with Ahmar. In today's episode, we have a very special guest, Professor Kamoun from the Sainsbury Laboratory, UK. He is one of the world leading plant scientists, and today he is sharing simple and honest advice to the student how to connect with the professor when you are writing for the first time, and how you can be like you can write a strong research proposal. And we will also take his advice how to write a scientific paper and read the scientific article. So thank you, Professor, again for you giving us a time to my audience, especially. So we are very like getting like knowledge from different professors around the world, and one of them is you. So without wasting any time, I would like to start just from you a little bit introduction, because now you are a world leading scientist, so you just can be a little bit about tell us about your journey when you start like a career, be a plant scientist, or wanna go into the academic journey. So it will be helpful for us.
First of all, thank you, Sonny, for having me. I'm truly honored to talk to you and your community, and I hope this session can be inspiring to many of you. I'm Tunisian. I grew up in Tunisia, and I left there after high school. I went to Paris for my undergraduate. Then I went to the US to University of California, Davis for a PhD, and I kept traveling. So then I moved to the Netherlands for a postdoc. Then I moved back to the US to start my own lab, and here I am now in the UK in the Sainsbury lab in Norwich, UK. So I've been a bit of how do you call it, a knowledge nomad, if you like, or something like that. I've been nomadic. My mother tells me you must have nomadic genes because you keep moving all the time. So maybe that's that's what I inherited. But yeah, it's a fascinating journey, obviously, and I mean, what I learned to appreciate more than anything is the importance of different cultures and how they all have something to bring to the table. I learned every place I lived in, I learned something from it and its people, and hopefully I can combine all of these into something positive. So pleasure to talk to you and your colleagues.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we can start about the part one, like the student when we are writing email. So how professor think when they receive email from a student? Sometime I know you professor are receiving more than like 50 emails per week, sometime more than that. So how what the catchy title like gain your attention for the student emails, or sometimes you just ignore like this email is like a generic email or something like that.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, and yeah, it's a difficult question to answer, to be honest. And I think also I start with a disclaimer is that what I would say may not apply to all the other PIs because I have a particular way of identifying and selecting talent because that's really what this is about. And I think not all my colleagues may think the same way or operate in the same way. So, as kind of a warning, this what I would say now may not apply for everyone. So, I mean, the main angle there is more than anything is to show maturity. So I think maturity is in it's not like just about the technical skills you have or the grades you have or the studies you did. It's kind of an overall understanding of the scientific enterprise. So, for example, for instance, I'm a very strong advocate of open science. So if somebody sends me generic email and they have no idea of what I've been doing and advocating beyond my even my own research, then I would not be very impressed. I would assume this person is not really aware of what's going on in the community and haven't really done the research about my lab and even my own aspirations, which are, I think, there in the internet for everyone to read about. So I would not connect with that person. It will, if somebody is sending me an email saying simply, I have this degree and I have these skills, I can extract DNA or do some plasmid cloning or something like that. That's not gonna bring them to the forefront of my interests, right? So I think maturity is basically appreciating that the scientific enterprise is a lot more than just doing research and publishing papers. We are looking actually for people who are bigger than that, who can contribute more than that. We have people here who were selected because they are artists,
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not. in addition to being biologists and scientists. We have people who are selected here because they have amazing background in activism. I have a postdoc right now who was basically one of the pioneers of developing Our Ladies chapter in Tunis. And she was so engaged with that. And she did a lot of the sort of things that you're doing, actually, Sunny.
Okay.
So that's the type of things you really want to mention in an email to show that you're more than just a technical person. We're not looking for technicians. And to be honest, these days, a lot of things, a lot of services can be purchased, and it's not that difficult to actually find people who have technical skills. What's difficult is to find people who have passion, who have ambition, who really think about their contribution to society as much more than just doing some experiments in the lab, that are willing to really do a lot more than that. So if you can have this kind of passion and this kind of broader engagement shine through your email, you will certainly catch my attention.
Okay. Okay, thank you for your prospectus of view. What do you think the CV should be in length, like 4 5 pages, or CV should be like very concise or short in 1 or 2 pages? How you get the intention about the CVs?
I mean, this is really a very sort of technical, almost bureaucratic detail, I would say. I mean, I would not make it too long, but I
Mm-hmm.
would again, I think 2 pages should be sufficient to get a sense of what the candidate is about, what the background is, etc. But I think really showing more than the classical sort of section you see in a CV is really important. And again, I think we're looking for more than just the classical academic skills. Again, like for example, someone like yourself should definitely have links to your podcast. That would give me a really good idea about who you are and how you're thinking and so on, right? So think more broadly than sort of the classical maybe idea that people have of what a student or a postdoc should be about. We look for leaders. We look for future leaders. So future leaders take initiatives. They don't just sit back and just do research and that's it. They do more than that.